The Rolex Paris Masters is the next big ATP 1000 event. Matter of fact, it is the final ATP 1000 event of 2024 before we get to the ATP Finals. And with this point system being very close, this is going to be a huge tournament for a number of players. So with that being said, let's look at your entry list for this year's 2024 Rolex Paris Masters. We're going to get started with the three guys that are already qualified for the ATP Finals at the end of the year. Gonna get started with the world number one, Jannik Sinner. He's been dominating the hard courts all year long, winning the Australian Open, winning the US Open, not to mention wins at Cincinnati, most recently at Shanghai, also won at Miami in the earlier parts of the year. Jannik Sinner, very solid 2024, entered into this year's Rolex Paris Masters. All right, also joining him, another guy that's already qualified is Carlos Alcaraz. Now for Alcaraz, right, you guys know, good middle part of the year, winning the French Open, winning Wimbledon, silver medal at the Olympics. And he also had a very good showing recently in China, winning that ATP 500 event, beating Jannik Sinner in the finals on the hard courts. Kind of needs another one here a little bit, in my opinion, another really good showing. He did have a decent one at Shanghai, but nonetheless, Alcaraz starting to taper off a little bit here in the later part of 2024. Overall, I'm not really worried about Carlos Alcaraz, but still, Alcaraz might want to have a pretty decent showing in this tournament just to kind of remind people of who he is, the talent he possesses, and the young phenom that he absolutely is. Now, also qualified in this tournament is Alexander Zverev. Not going to spend super much time on Zverev. He is clinched, he is in, but he needs a very good showing because, again, very good middle part of the year. He had that very good showing at the Australian Open, but as of late, he needs something here. So we'll see what Alexander Zverev could do here in this year's tournament in Paris. Now we get to the defending champ from last year, looking to go back-to-back and seek a 8th victory here at Paris, and that is Novak Djokovic. Like I said, Novak Djokovic is not qualified yet for the ATP Finals, but this is obviously a big opportunity. We can stamp that. As you guys know, very good player. And again, 8th, he's looking to seek his 8th title here at Paris. So look for Novak Djokovic to have a big tournament here in Paris. Now, guys, we get to the race for number 8. 7, 8, 9, and 10, all very close in the rankings. Going to be a very important tournament for all of these guys. They are Casper Ruud, who, as you guys know, very good clay court player. Going to need a big moment here in this tournament. Andrey Rublev showed up at a few ATP 1000 events already this year, but for the most part, there has been a lot of disastrous showings. He cannot afford one here. Alex Minaur on the outside looking in at number 9. Great opportunity here in Paris for him. And Grigor Dimitrov at number 10. A little bit of an uphill battle for him, but it is doable. He needs a big showing. Now, those are kind of what you're looking at in the race, and with Djokovic being that big name as defending champ. Two other players really quickly before we get into some outside people looking in. Daniil Medvedev, he's actually going to be the number 4 seed for this year's tournament. He's about to qualify for the ATP Finals. Medvedev's actually the number 5 seed for this year's tournament. Nonetheless, great hardcore player. Medvedev going to be right in the mix of things here. And also joining him, Taylor Fritz. Fritz, right, great end of the year. He's the number 7 seed in this tournament. He's also about to close the deal and qualify here off of the very good showings we've seen at him as of late by losing the finals at the US Open and then making the semis at Shanghai. So I know these guys kind of take like the really big headlines, if you will, that they're in that race towards the ATP Finals, but still, nonetheless, there's plenty of other players that are out there that want to win this, that want to be in the mix of things, and maybe want to play spoiler here a little bit, and they have the absolute capabilities of doing so. These guys are all entered into this year's tournament. They're big names, and watch out to see if they make a run in this year's tournament in Paris. Gonna get started with Ben Shelton. Anytime you're on the hard courts, look out for him. He's a big server. He has a little bit of momentum from that pretty good US Open showing that he had there. Let's see if he can make some noise here in Paris. Also, fellow American, Tommy Paul. Solid year overall. Not a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. Look out to see if he can play spoiler, pull off an upset, make a deep run here in Paris. Holger Rune had a very nice showing at Shanghai. I always say there's something for momentum. Let's see if he builds on it here. We've been waiting for Holger Rune to step up and do something here. This could be a big opportunity for him. Also, Hurkacz had to miss in Shanghai, where he was the defending champ. Bummer to see him have to miss that tournament, but he will be in this one. He is the number 8 seed. So that's kind of what you're looking at. And guys, I will have a full list of everybody that has entered, including the alternates and everything, in the description of this video. But those are kind of your really big names that are entered into this year's tournament. Just want to also mention too, just because people are entered and I'm recording this and I have the video out there, there's always chances people will pull out of tournaments right up to the very last minute. So just make sure you guys are keeping an eye out on this channel. I'll have all that sort of news as they develop and as they come out. But right now, this is your entry list for the 2024 Rolex Paris Masters. And that tournament is going to run October 26th through November 3rd. So make sure you guys keep coming here to this YouTube channel for continued coverage of this year's event.